Pickup Lines is presented by Gamez Law Firm. Personal injury guidance for more than 50 years. Gamez Law fights. By Integrity Roofing and Siding. Family owned and operated for more than 40 years, serving the San Antonio area for roofing, siding, and renovation needs. And by the Sabinal Group. For nearly 20 years, serving the San Antonio region through professional minority general contracting services. Pickup Lines is broadcast from inside the all-electric Lexus RZ450e, courtesy of North Park Lexus at Dominion and North Park Lexus of San Antonio.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it. It is 2025, and I'm still getting used to saying that. But this is still Pickup Lines, the talk show in a car, and this is our first episode in the brand new year, and I'm happy to report that we've got a good one here for you. Someone who I've met once upon a time in my TV days, and he's quite literally on my show. He's Shokare Nakpodia here with DreamWeek San Antonio.
Yes.
Happy New Year to you, sir.
Happy New Year.
It's great to see you once again.
Great to see you. This is a great studio here.
This is a little different than the last time we were on camera together, I think,
trust
right?
Me, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable here.
Just, move the seat, do whatever you have to do.
Yes.
And we don't have to go to weather after this either, or the commercials. We can talk for a little bit here. You're probably one of the people in San Antonio that you can't quite really ease into the new year when January comes around. I mean, this is go month for you.
Yeah, my children, I owe them a lot, every Christmas. But it's an entire team that works on it. We try to do as much as possible before November, but it's still a very testing Christmas.
Indeed. We're talking about Dream Week, which 1 week from today will officially have kicked off, and I'm happy to report that I will be emceeing the opening breakfast next Friday morning on the 10th. Is it the Jack Gunther Briscoe Western Art Museum?
Yes, Jack Gunther Pavilion at the Briscoe Museum. Yes,
over by Hotel Contessa downtown. I know. Yeah.
7:30 in the morning,
7:30
and
in the morning.
So excited that you're going to be the MC.
I'm honored to be there.
Really,
I'm honored to be there.
Really.
This is one of those things again. Over the years when I was on TV in the mornings, I could never go to this event because I was on TV at the time. But now I can go.
It's amazing.
It's a blessing.
Really, and we're so excited to have you.
This is what, year 12 or 13 for Dream Week?
Yes, this is year 13, and we stayed the course during COVID, so it's always been a very, we've had incredible interest from the community, so there's never been an opportunity to take a year off, but this is our year 13, and it's growing every year.
I love it. So let's go backwards here, because people who do not know you or have not seen you before will detect an accent and immediately wonder, all right, well, you've been in San Antonio a long time, but you were not born here. You're originally from Nigeria, correct?
Yes. It doesn't sound like Brownsville. No.
A little bit off. Not quite Brownsville. Lagos is far away from, do San Antonio and Lagos, Nigeria, have anything in common?
The weather?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, weather. San Antonio is a little hotter, but the weather, and then I think in a way it's a very diverse environment. Lagos itself is a very diverse. 25 million in a city. So
you're kidding me? Is that big? Okay,
that big.
So it'd be like taking about 18 to 20 San Antonios and putting them all in
putting them all, just like fiesta every day.
Every single day.
Yeah, that's what it would be like.
On steroids. That's, oh, gosh.
Market Square.
Market Square every day. You get a little claustrophobic in there and everything. Yeah. But you've been here for, 20 plus years now, right?
Yes.
San Antonio?
This is where I call home, actually. Yeah. So I have an accent everywhere I go. But San Antonio is where I've lived for the last couple of decades. And both my children, who are very dear to me, were born here.
Fantastic.
And so this is home to me.
Do you say y'all, or has any of the Texas accent rubbed off on you yet?
I don't say y'all, but ain't I probably do.
Yeah. Y'all.
In that I don't know. Texan accent is something that you can detect until obviously you're out of.
Right.
I definitely say folks.
Folks. Okay.
Yes, never did.
Okay.
I say folks now.
Do you still have family back in Nigeria?
Oh, yes,
you go back?
Yes, a lot. I come from a very large family.
Yeah.
And I go back once in a while, but most of my siblings are out of the country as well in different parts of the world.
How many siblings do you have?
11 others.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, and they're all over the place.
All over the place.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I know you've got you've made a career in marketing and advertising and stuff like that. But when you were a young boy growing up in Nigeria, what are your earliest memories of what you were going to do with your life? And did you ever think you would spend your adult life in the United States, much less in San Antonio, Texas?
Yeah, Cosby Show, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, America, for at least for growing up in a middle class environment
Right.
in Nigeria, and then I went I went to England. And
Okay.
I studied there. I was there for most of my late teens and early 20s. So for most, America for me was just the Mecca. It was kind of heaven. It was a place I really absolutely wanted to end up being.
But it's
in.
interesting because you mentioned the pop culture. I mean, three things right there. The Cosby Show was like the defining. I mean, I know Bill Cosby obviously has had fallen from grace, but back in the mid '80s, I mean, that was the show. Michael Jordan obviously was the brand basketball player, and then
Yes.
Michael Jackson, Thriller and all that stuff, King of Pop.
It's just that idea of overcoming that you hear about a lot,
Right.
And at least I did, and I was, we studied Malcolm X, MLK,
Sure.
and all the other heroes, and were also inspired by the civil rights movement. So Cosby Show gave us the impression that things had moved along,
Exactly.
and this would have been a wonderful, exciting place to be.
Because you had, Bill Cosby was with Cliff Huxtable and his wife,
Yes, the whole
successful family, African American
Yes.
family, and
Yes,
it was a big
yes.
deal at the time, and obviously one of the
Huge.
top great sitcoms of all time.
Yes.
When you were a kid, you mentioned MLK and everything. The civil rights movement was very much in your life. You even expressed an interest in like joining or being a part of the civil rights movement.
Yes, one of my earliest recollections, and this always elicits a kind of laughter from people when I mention it, but I just looked at them, and they just all the marches and all the different black and white clips that I saw.
Right.
They just seem so noble, African Americans, and obviously the allies as well. It just seemed such a noble cause, and they always appeared to me, besides the ANC and Mandela, had been at this cutting edge of this negotiation of what it was
Right.
to survive as a black person on this planet and find their own space and basically be accepted, and also contribute culturally as well. So that was something that really appealed to me, and I couldn't wait to get here. But
Yeah.
when I landed in New York, actually it was a New Year's Eve. I landed in New York, and
What year was that?
that was in 96.
Just in time for the ball drop in Times Square and everything.
And
New Year's
yes,
Eve in
yes.
New York City.
And basically, I was shocked because I
Right.
ended up in Brooklyn, and it wasn't quite what I expected.
You were a cab driver there, correct?
Well, I had to, yes. I
You had to make some
survive.
money.
Yes, initially, yeah. I did, all kinds of things. Cab driving. I did, I think they probably ran out of people, but I did some modeling, and just basically
Really?
just did all kinds of things to survive. And then also attended, did courses at the School of Visual Arts as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had that eye for just the arts and what do you model? Like clothing? Like
Just
fashion?
just kind of
Okay.
odd things. New York is a place where opportunity is always around the corner. At least then it was, So I was playing soccer in park somewhere, and
Playing soccer, okay.
somebody approached me.
But I had read too that that's how you were discovered as a model.
Yeah,
Just playing soccer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but again, that wasn't something that was unusual.
Yeah, no, you hear stories of people getting discovered, or actors and actresses and stuff like that.
That
getting
wasn't
discovered.
unusual. But I also did one of my tutors at the School of Visual Arts turned out to be an editor in the New York Times as well. One of the weekend editors there, and basically reached out and said, "Look, you know what, Cheryl? I like the way you present certain
Yeah.
things. My first well, it's not a real job, but the job I was most proud of
Right.
then was, doing a couple of illustrations for the New York Times.
Okay.
And that's when I kind of started to think about this idea of grace and what is kind of natural to you, a natural ability,
Interesting.
and start to pivot into really finding out what I could do. I had a dreadful situation once when I looked around me and was really so disappointed in myself that I never really contributed anything to
Really?
to the world.
This is while you were modeling?
No.
Or just earlier than that?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
yeah, right around that time. But basically saying that I didn't even created a toothpick or something that
You wanted
somebody
something
else,
to show for yourself, like
Something-
something material.
yeah, something that you could say, look, you know what, I lived in the world for 60, 70, 80,
Yeah.
90 years, and this is what I contributed to. This is what I left behind. A kind of a legacy item,
Right.
but not something that was something that other people could.
But you would talk to your father about this as well, right? And,
Yes.
And you would, basically what you just said, you would tell him the same thing.
Yes. I think everyone has that. I think everyone has that ability, or they
Right.
have that nugget. I call it a genius. There's something within us that just the way we
Yeah.
are, the way we unique perception of the world
Right.
can offer. There's something in us that we can contribute that would actually either inspire, but
Yeah.
it's a major contribution. Everyone has that little thing in them that they can share to the world. That sometimes it brings change, sometimes
Yeah.
it brings joy. But
Well, you've certainly done that now. I mean, and we'll get to DreamWeek here. I guess before we get to DreamWeek, I guess we should mention how you got to San Antonio in the early 2000s. Was it your sister who was here?
yes, my elder sister, who's a pastor here,
Right.
and I have to give her a shout out, Shokare Nakpodia, Redeemer's Praise Church, and she feeds about 800 to 1,000. She doesn't like me calling them homeless, hungry folks every Saturday. Every Saturday.
And so she's still a pastor, still doing it to this day.
Till today.
Oh, my
And,
goodness.
So she was a major inspiration, but I was tricked a little bit too as
Yes.
well. They took me to the river walk and the river walk and the Alamo and
Yeah.
Six Flags and all. And I thought, I lived in London, I lived in New York.
Yep.
So San Antonio just seemed a place where it was very European, first of all.
Yeah.
It's kind of very European
Okay.
environment. But at that time, when Blue Star was the Mecca, everything just seemed so possible.
Got
the
it.
city, a canvas that,
Right.
everyone was still,
Sure.
contributing
Again, this is
to.
like 20 years ago.
Yes.
And so you get
Yes.
here, you fall in love with it, or you like it, and you decide
Really
at
did.
some point, I'm going to stay.
Yes, I came here with my fiance then, who became my wife, and so yeah, we liked it here, but we didn't think we were going to actually end up here. We thought
Right.
this would be a perfect place. Couple of years,
Yeah.
3 years, get ourselves sorted out, and maybe figure out the next
And then
adventure.
figure out. Okay.
Yes.
Well, we're glad you decided to stay. This is Shokare Nakpodia. Call him Show.
Yes.
Among other things, the founder of DreamWeek San Antonio, which gets underway in earnest a week from today. So soon after you got here, I guess you discover the MLK March in San Antonio, and you
Yes.
realize, well, wait a minute. What are they doing here in San Antonio? They have hundreds of thousands of people every January marching on MLK Day.
Yeah, it was a big shock to me. So we had the good fortune. I have an advertising agency
Right.
called the Mighty Group, and we had the good fortune of being. I had a contract to
Right.
actually beautify the march route,
Right.
and it was a special anniversary, and so it was a wonderful opportunity. So, but we had to be there super early in the morning,
Yep.
probably about 4:30, 5 o'clock, prior to the march. So I actually saw the very first people come up to the
Right.
route and stayed until having to get all the signage and
Yeah,
flags
tear
and
down
all
and
of that.
everything.
So I saw the whole thing, and I'd been to the Notting Hill Carnival in London, and the West Indian Day Parade in Brooklyn,
Right.
Eastern Parkway, and these were huge. But they were about, dancing, drinking, celebrating, but this was very early in the morning, and all these folks, then it was probably about 100,000.
Yeah.
It's grown up to be 200, 300,000 now.
Right.
And shout out to the MLK Commission for that achievement. It's remarkable. But just seeing that many people walking early in the morning, one accord, and that part of town, MLK Drive, right?
Sure. East side of town. Yeah.
East side of town, it was just really spectacular and really amazing. I thought to myself, look, what else is out there in San Antonio that we haven't tapped in? What can we do to, reach out to all the other people who their hearts are in the right place, who probably who didn't wake up in the morning, and that's really how we started to delve into this idea of Dream Week.
Because you go back to that, I guess, when you were a young boy and the civil rights movement and everything, and you saw an opportunity. So obviously you played on the dream, I have a dream,
Definitely.
MLK, and you decided, I think I read somewhere, you weren't going to wait till something terrible happened to have these conversations. You wanted to be proactive about it.
Yes.
And you're going to build 2 weeks or so around the MLK holiday and host dozens and dozens of events.
Well, it wasn't 2 weeks then, obviously. We started off, thinking we'll just start with Dream Week, have a few events. And, the most remarkable thing about San Antonio, because we've tried this in other cities, or other cities have approached us to try.
Right.
But the most remarkable thing was that no one said no at the beginning. And the model wasn't reaching out to them and saying, hey, we were asking people to actually host events, to celebrate. And what we're looking at then, we're thinking about diversity, the buzzwords, diversity, equality, tolerance, but it's morphed up to be the core thing about Dream Week is really where the Mandelas and MLKs of today, how these folks do not introduce themselves like with Mandela and MLKs on their heads. They kind of force their way into public perception. And how do we create environments where a 12-year-old girl on the south side who has this tremendous genius that can change the world can come out and express herself and share that idea and that knowledge? And where can we create an environment where if you are not, for example, maybe you're straight, but you're curious about what it is to be, gay or transsexual, you can go in and just go listen and be a fly on the wall, and you won't be any more or less gay when you come out of that situation. No pun intended. But so basically, it's that kind of thing we have. We've had 2 years ago, we had an incredible festival by the Palestinian community in this environment, and at the same time, we have an event from the Holocaust Museum here as well. And so it's that kind of balance that we need in an environment, and realize that, most individuals walking around, you really can't tell what their backgrounds are.
Yeah.
So we need to treat each other with a little bit more divinity, a little bit more, see each other as kind of very unique opportunities to learn more about our world.
I can get with that. And I kind of look at it as like a one-stop shop where you don't have to travel halfway around the world to experience some of these things. They're all right here in San Antonio. And like you said, you can go in not worrying about being judged or frowned upon or whatever that may mean. And expose yourself to a different culture or different lifestyle, different whatever. And
yes, but not just expose yourself, immerse yourself, figure it out, ask questions if you have to, this the kind of it's the proximity, so it's the ability to venture intellectually, physically, and I also add spiritually, that we want to make that a habit.
Got it. And it's grown, and you said, by the way, this is Shokare Nakpodia, the founder and president of DreamWeek San Antonio, which is going to run from January 10th, next Friday, through the 26th. You end with the Dream Ball, correct?
Yes,
that's like the big finale.
The big finale, typically it's supposed to be a fundraiser, and it's a kind of a nod to, the mayor as well, trying to thank all the elected officials for all the work they've done. and we have about 12, 13 acts, 5, 6 minutes each, and it's a review of sorts of what it is to be San Antonio, and it's very random. So we can have mariachi, we have the poet laureate, we have
Yes.
dancers from Cameroon. It's just that mismatch of, it's important. If there's anything that I would like people to come up with at the end of any Dream Week,
Yeah.
is just the how awesome life is and how complex it is, that it's not enough to just come up with very dogmatic ways
Right.
of viewing it, but that we have so much out there that we can share.
And what you said too is the buy-in. And this is something that transcends politics, right? So you have elected officials from all walks of life and
Yes.
all political persuasions, and
Yes.
the mayor is there. And
Yes.
were you surprised to have such buy-in from the city and from the?
Yes, initially, yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be so much more, and that's why I'm a little uncomfortable sometimes when they go, "Oh, look, show you've created this incredible thing." We've had cities approach us, and we have initial discussions, and you can just hear the bickering already
Oh.
about within themselves and
In
saying,
other
well,
places.
yeah, other places
Yeah.
where,
Yeah.
and it was Tom Frost, the late Tom Frost, that actually shared this with me. He said a pastor friend of his from Houston
Right.
told him that we resolve issues in San Antonio with a lot less drama than a lot of other cities of a similar size.
Right.
So that's something too that we have to put into and bring into equation, that it's something unique here that we try to kind of figure out. Just like,
Yeah.
why do we have the largest march in the world? We used to say the nation, but it's the largest MLK march in the world.
Right, right.
Why would it be in San Antonio? And now why do we have the largest, or one of the largest, community curated events in Dream Week as well here?
Yeah.
So those things you can't really put your finger on, but I think there's a leave and let leave kind of philosophy here.
Yeah.
And we've had generations of the three major groups here: the Spanish, the Latino, and Black, African American, and also Anglo groups have had generations here. Most other cities have only two, and but all three are here and fairly established, and
Yeah.
we have a lot more to do.
Right.
I think that a lot of inequalities and stuff are going on here.
Well, I know you've said publicly,
Yeah.
like you could see this, down the road becoming on the scale of South by Southwest in Austin.
Yes, I don't see any reason why. Maybe not in my lifetime, but surely this is a great opportunity for it to be a destination worldwide for people
Yeah.
to attempt to resolve conflict. Why don't we talk about, school shooting? Why do we need to have a month or two after
Right.
a school shooting to get it, really emotional and loud,
Yeah.
and concerned about such things? Why can't we just have that now, when thankfully there hasn't been any, and maybe really our hearts goes out to all the individuals in New Orleans.
I was just gonna say, I mean, we're just
Yeah.
2-3 days removed from that, and so terrorism and stuff like those things
Terrorism.
that are happening not too far from where we are. I mean, it's pretty sad and remarkable. So.
And if you have lost somebody, suddenly in a family,
Yeah,
and the impact of one person's death, we're talking about tens of people,
right,
maybe even as much as 100.
right.
Then you multiply that by 20 deaths,
Yeah,
or you multiply that by, thousands in Israel, and then tens of thousands. And so the impact on the community when that many people
yeah.
die, killed, is just mind blowing. One can't even imagine what happens. It takes generations for that to even that kind of suffering to dissipate.
But hopefully some of these conversations, I mean, we're talking about some deep conversations that will be had here starting next week in San Antonio. DreamWeek.org is the website if you'd like to get in on that there. And there's a full list of events that'll be happening throughout the course of the entire, 16 days or so, 10 through the...
220.
220 events.
220 events.
From the 10th to the 26th.
It's not all gloom and doom, though. There's fashion shows.
No.
There are galas.
A little bit of something for everyone.
Silent discos, events, and there's something for everyone. Yes.
Now you're talking my language here. Very good.
A silent disco.
I love it. And
which is it's fittingly this year, I believe, on the 20th, on
the
Inauguration
20th,
Day.
The MLK Commission have done a tremendous job. It was cancelled last year because of the freeze.
I remember that. Yes.
So this year, nothing's going to stop it happening.
Okay.
So this is what I've heard. And the keynote speaker is I think it's still. But we have a special keynote speaker from the King family.
Oh, are you not at liberty to say yet?
Well, I think they probably need to say that.
Because I know you've had MLK the third.
Yes.
Dr. King's son.
Yes.
And so you have support from the family, obviously. Which
yes, for
which
sure.
Which is huge. I mean, that's tremendous.
Yeah.
So.
We even had the discussion of trying to do something similar in Atlanta.
Right.
But you have to remember too, I'm an African-born immigrant, right? So there's certain things that has to be said about the genius of the African American. What I want personally my vision for Dream Week is that we can use that genius and the civil rights genius as well.
Right.
And we're talking about people who despise each other for most part, willing to sit across the table and have discussions while you still had the water hosing and lynchings in some parts and stuff. But there's a group that felt that they could convince one of the other group, intellectually, and get them to see their viewpoint. I think that model is something that the African American genius has given to the rest of the world, and I think we can apply that and use it in so many other ways, and it doesn't have to be necessarily about conflict resolution, but it could be about just the intimacy of ideas, of cultures, of people, and let's see what rubs off.
Well, there's no question you've struck a chord here in San Antonio. We talk about now 13 years in, and this thing just keeps getting bigger and bigger. DreamWeek.org if you'd like to get involved, find out more, get tickets to the Dream Ball, the different things like that. Thank you. And the man even has the swag.
You're getting a whole bunch of this.
Oh, I'm going to get some stuff. All right, awesome. Honored to be there again. I will be at the opening breakfast on the morning of the 10th, a week from today. And I know it's a busy time for you, so I appreciate you carving out some time to visit with me.
Wow, this is excellent. I love this space. Guys, we're not going to mention the car, right? We can't do that.
You can talk about the car if you want.
This Lexus.
It's right here on it's right here on the logo, North Park Lexus in San Antonio.
This has given me some ideas here.
Okay.
It's amazing.
All right. Maybe I've sold another car. We'll see.
I hope so. But I would encourage anyone who's looking to get to check this out. For sure.
Very good. Awesome to see you. Congratulations on all your success. It's just a great story. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon.
You're the man.
There he is. I call him Show.
And please come and see Ernie at our opening event at the Jack Gunther Pavilion.
I know it's by
at
hotel.
the Briscoe Museum, 7:30. I know it's super early.
Yeah.
There's a breakfast served, and then we get to learn a lot more about San Antonio. Our keynote speaker is our Mayor Ron.
Fantastic stuff. Yes. Good to see you, sir. Happy New Year to you and your family.
There
he is.
Thank you.
Shokare Nakpodia, the DreamWeek founder, DreamWeek San Antonio founder and president. Yes. DreamWeek.org is the website. All right, our first show of 2025 is in the books. Another episode of Pickup Lines. We'll be back again very soon. Have a great day. Bye for now.